Hi everybody, welcome back. This week we're kind of finishing up with color and we're just kind of linking on to last week and really thinking about color in a more nuanced and a little bit more intricate way. We're going to look at how colors go together, and we're being extremely influenced by this work that we saw by Josef Albers called The Interaction of Colors. And this is really showing colors nestled within one another and how they work together. So I think sometimes we might hear that, well, this color doesn't go with that color, or you can't put these two colors together. And I'm actually completely, totally against that. I think that a lot of colors do work together, and most can. And when we see colors that might challenge us when we're looking at it, that's when something kind of very interesting is happening. So I like that. And I want you to be encouraged to not limit yourself and think that only certain colors can go together. Today, we are going to be looking at how to nestle colors together. I have all these different fabrics that I dyed. They were all white, FYI. Whoops, did I lose one? I did. They were all white when I started off with doing this, and so I dyed them a lot of different colors so we can practice kind of looking at them nestled within one another. So I'm gonna pin these up here and we can kind of look at what happens with color once. So we've got this square and we can kind of think about like, what might we want to see inside of it? I'm trying to think. I think I'm gonna put, what am I gonna do? Oh, I think I might put a little bit of this inside of it, this brown. Let's look at that. That's doing something. A lot of people think like purple and brown. Maybe I might not do that together, but let's just put that in there and look at it, see what we think. Then we could nestle another color inside of it. I'm gonna take this blue just for fun. Try that. I'll get this thread out of there. I'll put this blue. And then I kind of feel like it needs some, maybe it needs a reminder of the purple. What do you think? Maybe a purple reminder in there? A reminder of the purple? I think I'm gonna try that. And then I feel it needs contrast. So remember, let's think about what our contrast to purple is. It's yellow. So I'm just using this little piece of lace, but I'm just gonna put it in there. Well, maybe I have a smaller, ooh, or what about an analogous color, a color that's close to it? Ooh, I think I'm putting this red here, just for fun. So as you can see, as you start to nestle your colors one into the next, it could become something kind of interesting. You could start to see something happen here that, I don't know, maybe it looks like it's going deeper in or it's coming out. All of that can be created with color. Let's do another one really quickly so you can see how this can get changed up. I'm gonna switch it and put this yellow here. Really gonna try to get it to be pretty vibrant. Whoops. I'm gonna put the yellow, whoopsie, the yellow there, and maybe even, ew, what about this? Let's try it. Oh, that's starting to get interesting. I think that's getting really interesting. Now I'm like, I want to kind of lose this purple in the background, but I love what's happening right here. So you can layer these, you know, your squares of color as you're doing this on the Seesaw app and really come up with a lot of different combinations. It's just up to you. And that's what I want you to do on the app is get the square, use the square shape, blow it up in one color and nestle the next square in the center of it and make that another color and layer your shapes. You can also do this if you're at home with paper or with fabric like I did. You know, big shout out to quilters. I'm terrible at cutting a square, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just really for you to experiment looking at colors layered and what you might find interesting. And it could be different things, different ways. You could even take something that you already have, what about this piece, and look at it layered with different colors in order to kind of get some, ooh, what about this? This is kind of cool. Layering some stuff. You could really start to layer things that people might be like, well, those don't go together. But actually, they're pretty interesting visually. So remember that when you're doing this project, really let yourself play with the color and have fun with it. All right? So the next thought within layering this, these different squares is, last week I had you guys go take pictures outside of just color inspiration. Well, I had one student, her name is Janaya, big shout out to Janaya, who kind of blew my mind and had me really thinking. She organized her pictures on the page, one picture nestled inside of the next picture. And it really opened my mind to the idea of layering photographs in this way. So I began to just look at just random pictures. I just started cutting them out of magazines. And then I thought, why can't I layer them in the same way that Janaya did to kind of create something interesting like this? And I think this is really cool. So I just started doing it basically much of this weekend, looking at anything that I could layered or nestled. So another project that I want you to do is to take some pictures or some photos and then nestle your photos one inside the other. Look at some of these. I think they're really interesting. And I just did these quickly. These are just I don't even have them glued together. So one photograph nestled inside of another photograph with another image nestled inside of that. I think that's pretty interesting. There's a lot to see there. And I really looked at Janaya's nestled photographs for a long time. They were visually interesting, but also still playing on some of the color theory that we've been talking about. Yellows against blues, what's happening here, how's it working? Thinking about color and looking at that in this way. Look at this one. I just kind of came up with it right before I did this. Look at that. That's pretty interesting. I think it's kind of cool. So I'd like you to try to do a nestled color, solid color composition, and then a nestled photographic composition. I think it could be really exciting, and you could kind of have fun with it. I tried to just layer it and just make it fun. So these are all separate images, and I just layered them together. If you're at home, you can cut out from magazines and nestle one image inside of the next. So definitely have fun with that. Think about this color theory and what we've been talking about as well. Lastly, I want to talk to you about work of people that I know. The work that has really inspired me, and I have it here in the studio that I look at almost every day of life. The first piece is this really incredible painted lead piece by the artist Don Foster. You can see that he's using this incredible ultramarine, very strong blue, then with this green nestled inside. You can tell that this artist is influenced and is looking at color much in the same way and thinking about how color works with one another, much in the same way as Josef Albers. The next piece is this painting by my friend Michael, and he is an incredible artist. He's also a hairdresser, if you can believe it. And I love how he did lines of color that kind of travel and change. Some colors that you think go together, some colors you might question that go together, but it still stays interesting as you're looking at it. And so I want you to think about color in a vertical linear way like Michael did, because it's kind of brilliant. So with that said, I'm going to show you an example of that. And if you're working on Seesaw, I'd like you to use vertical lines of different color. So some of you have been doing drawings of rainbows, which is a great example of that. But in this way, I want you to put together some colors that might not exactly go together, or some colors that are definitely complementary, and then some colors that might be analogous, and then colors that are really kind of, what? Maybe they don't go together. They might test your knowledge of that. So I'm going to show you this example actually using fabric and ribbons on this piece of paper. And I'm just going to pin them at the top so that you can see kind of what happens, and we're going to try to create kind of a stripe effect. We're going to do our best to kind of fake it really quickly. I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing because I'm just enjoying myself and I'm looking at the color. And that's kind of what I want you to do when you're doing this project. Of course, I know we've got a lot of fans for black lines, so let's put a big strong black line in there for sure. I kind of like a little bit of glitz and a little bit of sparkle. So I'm going to use this fabric because I love that it has like a little uneven glitz on it. This little piece of ribbon. Let's put that one there. Is it kind of pseudo straight? Yeah, there we go. I also like this kind of like funky, I don't even know what you call this. Like an aqua, almost an aqua. Ooh, yeah, we need some red, right? We need some red. At least I feel like we do. I kind of want to put it next to that. Look at that. That's starting to feel really good to me. So I'm just doing this on the fly. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just putting together colors where I think I like them. And I want you to do the same when you're doing this composition. Oh my gosh, we've been waiting for this. This has been like, where have you been in my life? This color. Oh, do we just leave a sliver of red? Look at that. It kind of, or does it need to be in there? Oh, I think it needs to be in here. So when you're doing this, have fun. Just layer your colors. Remember, you can always erase or change the colors as you're doing it, just like I'm doing it here. Nothing's set in stone. If you're working on Seesaw, you can move it around. You can see how you like it, how much of it, how much of a line you want. Remember, you can always play with that. I'm kind of liking that. Okay, what about the highlighter tool, you guys? The highlighter, I'm gonna fake the highlighter tool with this like sheer kind of white ribbon. I'm gonna do that a little bit. Ooh, I've got a sheer, look at this sheer red. Wow, I kind of want to put it there. That's beautiful. That seems really pretty. Right, I kind of like that white. Don't you think I need to leave some white showing? Yeah, a little bit of white. And now I want to use it somewhere else because I want to double down. You know I do. Okay, so I'm just layering the color, much like I want to think my friend did. And I'm adding what is appealing to me. I'm just looking at it, taking my time, and adding what I like. Gosh, I think I want to put this. Does it need to be like on this very end, or does it need to be over here? Oh my gosh, I can't decide. It's kind of fabulous right there too, isn't it? Okay, I'll put it there. But just like I said, once you're done with your composition of lines, thickness of lines, I want you to consider that. Whoopsie. Think about the thickness of your lines. Some might be very thin. Some might be a little bit wider. Some are much wider. Think about that and do your composition with like your inspiration in your mind. And the inspiration really is looking at color in a linear way. So the first way we looked at it, the colors were nestled, you know, definitely Josef Albers style. The second way we looked at it were images that are nestled, which I think is really, I'm all about this nestled image thing. I'm just feeling it. I love it. Nestled images. And then in this one, the color, the way you would technically describe the way the color is, these are nestled compositions. This is a striated or a linear composition. So the lines are vertical and you can see the striations. So that's a striated composition. So have fun when you're doing this. Really think about color and enjoy it. Remember, you can change it. You can change it as many times as you'd like to. You only need to turn in one. Have fun with it, and I'll see you next week because we're going to start to really look at some great art history of a cool group of people called the Impressionists, and they're all about color. I'll see you then. Bye.